The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is one of the most enduring and intractable conflicts in the world. For over a century, these two peoples have been locked in a bitter struggle over land, identity, and security. The conflict is rooted in complex historical, religious, and political factors. This essay will provide a comprehensive overview of the conflict, highlighting key historical events and their significance. The conflict is characterized by periods of intense violence interspersed with fragile ceasefires. Both sides harbor deep-seated grievances and mistrust. The conflict has had a profound impact on the lives of both Israelis and Palestinians. The international community has been heavily involved in efforts to mediate the conflict. The conflict has become a major source of instability in the Middle East. Understanding the historical context is crucial for comprehending the current situation and the challenges to achieving peace. The Balfour Declaration, issued by the British government in 1917, is a pivotal document in the history of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This declaration expressed support for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. It emphasized safeguarding the rights of non-Jewish communities but fueled tensions. The declaration encouraged Jewish immigration and the growth of the Zionist movement. Its ambiguity created fertile ground for conflict. The Balfour Declaration remains a significant historical event. Following World War II, the question of Palestine's future became a pressing international issue. The British Mandate for Palestine, established after the war, faced increasing violence between its Jewish and Arab populations. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to divide Palestine into two states, one Jewish and one Arab, with Jerusalem under international administration. This plan aimed to resolve the conflict by creating two independent states, but it ultimately exacerbated tensions. The partition plan was accepted by Jewish leaders, but rejected by Arab leaders, who viewed it as an unfair division of land. The plan's failure to address the concerns of both sides ultimately led to its demise. The rejection of the partition plan by Arab leaders reflected their deep opposition to the creation of a Jewish state in Palestine. The UN partition plan's failure to achieve its objective of a peaceful resolution highlighted the deep divisions and mistrust between the two sides. It also demonstrated the limitations of international intervention in resolving complex conflicts where fundamental national aspirations are at stake. The 1948 Arab-Israeli War, also known as the Nakba, catastrophe, by Palestinians, marked a pivotal moment in the history of the conflict. Following the British withdrawal from Palestine in May 1948, Israel declared independence, immediately triggering an invasion by neighboring Arab states. The war resulted in a decisive Israeli victory and the displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. The war had a profound impact on the demographics of the region, creating a large Palestinian refugee population scattered across neighboring countries. The war's outcome left a legacy of resentment and mistrust that continues to shape the conflict today. The 1948 war established Israel as a state, but also sowed the seeds for future conflicts. The displacement of Palestinians and the expansion of Israeli territory beyond the borders outlined in the UN partition plan created new sources of grievance and fueled the ongoing struggle for land and recognition. Section 5. The Six-Day War, 1967. Shifting Sands of Power. The Six-Day War, fought in June 1967, was another turning point in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The war, sparked by escalating tensions between Israel and its Arab neighbors, resulted in a swift Israeli victory and the capture of significant territories, including the West Bank, Gaza Strip, Golan Heights, and Sinai Peninsula. This victory dramatically altered the power dynamics in the region, but it also deepened the complexities of the conflict. The war's outcome, while a military triumph for Israel, had far-reaching consequences. It led to the displacement of more Palestinians and the expansion of Israeli settlements in the occupied territories, further complicating the search for peace. The occupation of these territories became a major source of contention, with Palestinians demanding their return as part of a future Palestinian state. The Six-Day War's legacy continues to shape the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The occupation of Palestinian territories remains a major obstacle to peace, and the settlements established in these territories have become a focal point of international criticism. Section 6. The Palestinian Uprisings 1987 and 2000. Voices of Resistance. The First Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation, began in 1987 and lasted for 6 years. It was characterized by widespread protests, civil disobedience, and armed resistance. The Second Intifada, also known as the Al-Aqsa Intifada, erupted in 2000 following the controversial visit of Ariel Sharon, then Israeli opposition leader, to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Both intifadas were marked by violence and bloodshed on both sides. They reflected the deep frustration and desperation felt by Palestinians living under Israeli occupation, but they also led to a hardening of Israeli attitudes towards the Palestinian national movement. The intifadas, while ultimately unsuccessful in achieving their immediate objectives, played a crucial role in shaping international perceptions of the conflict. They brought the Palestinian issue to the forefront of global politics and highlighted the human cost of the ongoing occupation. Section 7. The Hamas takeover of Gaza, 2007, fracture and blockade. In 2007, Hamas seized control of the Gaza Strip. This followed Hamas's victory in the 2006 elections, leading to a power struggle with Fatah. Hamas's takeover resulted in a split within Palestinian governance. It led to an Israeli blockade, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. The takeover added complexity to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Section 8. The Hamas surprise attack, October 7, 2023, a bloody escalation. On October 7, 2023, Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel, infiltrating its borders and killing over 1,200 people. The attack, involving a coordinated assault by land, air and sea, caught Israel off guard and marked a significant escalation in the conflict. The attack, Hamas's largest and deadliest against Israel in decades, aimed to inflict mass casualties and demonstrate its military capabilities. Israel responded swiftly with airstrikes on Gaza and a ground invasion, leading to thousands of deaths and injuries on both sides. The conflict resulted in widespread destruction and displacement, exacerbating the already dire humanitarian situation in Gaza. The international community condemned Hamas's attack and called for a ceasefire, but the violence continued for weeks. The October 7th attack marked a turning point in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, highlighting the deep-seated animosity and the potential for rapid escalation. The conflict's aftermath has left both sides reeling, with long-term implications for the region's stability and the prospects for peace. Section 9. The ongoing conflict, a tangled web of grievances. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a complex and multifaceted issue with a long and bloody history. The conflict is rooted in competing claims to land, resources, and national identity. Despite numerous attempts at peace negotiations, a lasting solution remains elusive. The conflict continues to claim lives, fuel instability, and hinder development in the region. The international community plays a crucial role in mediating the conflict and providing humanitarian assistance. However, finding a sustainable solution requires addressing the root causes of the conflict, including issues of security, borders, settlements, Jerusalem, refugees, and recognition. Both sides must be willing to engage in good faith negotiations and make difficult compromises to achieve a just and lasting peace. The ongoing conflict has devastating consequences for both Israelis and Palestinians, impacting their daily lives, security, and future prospects. It is essential for the international community to remain engaged and committed to finding a peaceful resolution that ensures the rights and security of both peoples. Section 10. Conclusion: the long road to peace. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is a tragedy for both peoples. It is a conflict that has claimed countless lives, displaced millions, and fueled decades of mistrust and animosity. While the path to peace is fraught with obstacles, it is imperative that both sides remain committed to dialogue and compromise. The international community has a responsibility to support efforts to achieve a just and lasting peace. This requires addressing the legitimate grievances of both Israelis and Palestinians, including issues of security, borders, settlements, Jerusalem, refugees, and recognition. A peaceful resolution to the conflict is not only in the best interests of Israelis and Palestinians, but it is also essential for the stability and prosperity of the entire Middle East. The road to peace will be long and arduous, but it is a journey that must be taken. Only through dialogue, compromise, and a shared commitment to peaceful coexistence can the cycle of violence be broken and a brighter future be secured for both Israelis and Palestinians.